Good evening, everyone. Peace and blessings to you. My name is Reverend Leah Alvarado. I'm with New Thought Northern Colorado Center for Spiritual Living. Welcome to the season for Nonviolence. Each day we come together for a total of 64 days to practice a new principle of peace and nonviolence based on the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King. So glad you're here today. Today is day 48, and our topic is a beginner's mind. Gandhi said, "I claim to be a simple individual, liable to err like any other fellow mortal. I own, however, that I have humility enough to confess my errors and to retrace my steps." Once we've attained the beginner's mind, Gandhi calls us to learn humility enough. Perhaps one of the most nonviolent systems of thought to arise out of the American experience is that of the various 12-step programs. They are programs of profound humility, honesty, self-responsibility, and acceptance. They're programs that support people in their growth. And step 10 says this: continue to take personal inventory, and when you're wrong, promptly admit it. This step states precisely what Gandhi is claiming for himself. We may claim to be in beginner's mind, but unless we admit openly to our mistakes, we're deluding ourselves. Humility enough means that we admit our mistake and then take the steps to correct them. One of the great dangers for those who are called to a path of change is that we begin to believe our own inerrancy and invincibility. This action of admitting our errors will continue reinforcing that beginner's mind and will always keep our feet on the path with humility. So our first question today is, what does having a beginner's mind mean to you? It's coming up here in 1 second. Here it goes. Hi, Dennis. Nice to have you with us. So our first question, what does having a beginner's mind mean to you? I invite you to add any thoughts into the chat. How does that sit with you as you think about that? Having a beginner's mind. And so many of us have been on the spiritual path for a long time. And to think back to how it was when we first started, it's hard to do that. We can be very arrogant on the spiritual journey, especially those of us who've been around for a long time. Oh, I know that. Oh, yeah, I've heard that before. Oh, yeah, I know that already. We hear ourselves saying. And so having a beginner's mind is what? What does it look like? What does it mean to see through the lens of a beginner's mind? It creates such humility within us when we're able to do that. It's a beautiful thing. And so the next question is, how can having a beginner's mind help you in the work you do related to the path of nonviolence? If we're approaching the path of nonviolence and really seeing it with a beginner's eye, a beginner's mind, approaching it with a beginner's mind, how does that change the actions that we take? How does it change our responses, our behaviors, our thoughts related to creating peace and nonviolence in the world? How does it change that? A beginner's mind, in Zen Buddhism, it's called Shoshin. And it's about being open, having an openness to whatever is presented in front of us, even if we are considered an expert in something and have many, many years of experience. To be able to approach something with that beginner's mind, we set our ego aside and we remain open to receive whatever is in front of us. What a wonderful practice for all of us as spiritual seekers. What a wonderful practice we can all do. Yeah. So Dennis, thank you. Being open and awake, we slow down. Yeah. Yeah, to have a beginner's mind, when you think about when you're beginning something, you're learning something for the first time, we're trying to take it all in. And so it can be this slow process, and we're just these sponges absorbing everything. Yeah. And so, yeah, to slow down and to remain open and awake to whatever is coming our way, whatever is in front of us, and learning from that, being open to learn that we don't know it all. We don't know it all. If we did, I believe we wouldn't be here. We will have left this earthly plane, but there's still more to learn. There's still more to engage with in life, and having a beginner's mind is a way to do that. So our affirmative practice is coming here. Let me put that in the chat, and we'll say that together. I will meditate on what it means to have a beginner's mind. Today I will review all my actions and have humility enough to confess my errors. Then I will take whatever actions necessary to correct my errors. This is the path to nonviolence. Yeah, that's another piece, confessing our errors. First, recognizing the errors and then confessing them, taking responsibility. I've talked about this before in some of these nonviolent sessions. That is another important piece of the spiritual journey, is to recognize when we have made errors, when we've made mistakes, and to acknowledge it, to take responsibility for that. And it does take some humility to be able to do that. Yeah. So let's just take a moment and go within, meditating on this idea of having a beginner's mind, what it feels like in your body as you imagine yourself approaching life with a beginner's mind, just in general. How would your perception change? How would you interact with people? How would you go through your day if you really came from that position of a beginner's mind? So let's just take a few moments to reflect on that. And so gently coming back, taking a deep breath, breathing into your heart. I love the idea of being humble, just being humble. What a beautiful way to walk through life, and a beautiful reminder for all of us. Yeah. So let's continue reflecting on this for this evening, having that beginner's mind in all that we do. Let peace begin with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. Tomorrow is day 49, and we'll be talking about the interdependence between all beings. Look forward to being with you then. Namaste.